This is the second cohort of students from Makerere University and Ndejje University in Iganga District. There have been two communities, Nakalama and Bukona. They've been focusing on the interconnectedness of several aspects of the community, several sectors, several services, water, energy, food, education and health. They've had an opportunity to interact with the community, to learn from the community, and to appreciate how they live their life every day, the opportunities, and how communities can be empowered.
The Nexus Plus program brings out the picture of how the different sectors are interrelated within the community. That is the water sector, the education, the health sector, the nutrition, but also the energy. So, for example, if we have water at the center of it all, we would love to understand how deficiencies in water supply or water quality could relate to education. For example, one challenge in one sector could affect the other sector in one way or the other. For example, if it's a child that falls sick, this condition will force the mother to walk long journeys to the health facility.
The beauty of this program has been the exposure of our students to the social engineering side. They've experienced these problems intimately, and they've shared stories with these community members intimately. So the nature of the solution is going to be different. The conceptualization of that solution in terms of what are the economics around it, what is going to be the usability of that solution. I've seen some lame people in the community. How do I configure it so that even these people are included in that solution? So we get a more all-round engineer than the one who's only in the classroom.
Me being an engineer, mechanical engineer, I'm trying to think of a solution to the water problem mostly, because that is the biggest problem that these farmers are facing. The water problem is that they have shallow wells. Most of the wells, there are many, you might find a community that's like 20 wells, but like 70% of them are shallow. So we need to find a way of having equipment that digs boreholes and also motorizing these boreholes so that they don't have to be hand pumped, but at a cheaper price, because according to our findings, we found a borehole that was motorized to have a pump, but this was an expensive pump which was stolen. So the community is suffering with the replacement costs.
Education has a lot of aspects that affect it. There is water, there is health, there is food, there is land. So in the schools, we got to realize some schools do not have sufficient land. So certain schools don't have school gardens that do affect the feeding. Such schools that don't have school gardens, most of their learners are not on the school feeding program. We also got to realize that some schools do not have water sources that belong to only the school. They have water sources that they share with the community, which creates congestion and affects learners, affects their kind of timing in school, because you have to wait so long to get water for drinking. And also the community is not so welcoming of the learners to fetch water at these water sources. And another aspect is health. Certain schools had fewer washrooms compared to the population, and so some of these washrooms were very, very dirty, and that affects the health of the students.
As a civil engineer, I will need to at least improve on my community action development skills. Why? Because according to the infrastructure we found out here, these people, most of their infrastructure was not onto a good scale. It was not designed properly. So we need to have a well-designed infrastructure for at least other communities within these ones, also to improve and also to translate my knowledge of seeking for the solutions to the challenges affected by these people.
Energy, all the households use firewood. How is this firewood gotten? Most people, no, of the 4 people that we had, 2 of them actually own some trees where the fathers cut down, then the mothers and children take the responsibility of like fetching it and bringing it at home. Whereas the other two families, some of them actually fetch the fire with themselves, but that is like the major source for food, for preparation of food. Then when it comes to lighting, they usually use solar, apart from Nakalama, where we have some people that can access the UEDCL facilities. However, even with those facilities, the energy is scarce because sometimes during the day, they do not have access to that lighting.
During my field experience, one of the things that stood out for me is how women's challenges are underplayed, even by the women themselves. So in one of the communities, I met a woman who is the breadwinner. She was running a grocery store, but when I talked to her, she also told me that early morning she goes to the land where she rented out to plant her maize and groundnuts. But then the husband was sick and she had to tend to the husband full time, and also their younger daughter was also sick and she was also tending to the both of them. But as I was interacting with them, she said that she's also not feeling well, but since the health facilities are very far, she cannot go to the government's health facilities, and only the amount of monies that she's left with are just enough to buy treatment from a private care facility for these two. So she's standing in for the family strong, forgetting that if she herself is not rehabilitated, if she's not cared for, it may be hard for her to care about the other family members.
These students have learned a lot, especially here in Busoga. Some had never reached Busoga. They had never seen a highly populated school like Nakalama Secondary School. They had a chance of entering the classes when students were there. They found one class could have 200 students, and that is only stream, not a full class. They found out that a class like S2 had like 600 students.
And right now, we are expecting them after school, they will come and work with us, because when you're at school, there are some things which you cannot notice. But when you come out here, there are so many challenges within the communities, because we have different challenges. You may find out that Nakalama village has a different challenge to Bukona.
We hope that the Nexus Plus program becomes a model for how we train the next generation of engineers across East Africa and beyond. Engineers that listen first, engineers that design from a community context and not assumptions, because then we build projects that are long-lasting and established in local leadership. For funders and partners, it shows that investing in data plus dialogue early builds solutions that last. As Engineers Without Borders, this is the future of engineering we would want to support. Wow!